So in this video we're going to look at something that just seems really obvious. So obvious you think, why am I doing a video about it? But there is a little bit more to it than meets the eye. Hello there and welcome. So I've been very kindly sent a couple of video clips that I'm going to share with you today. And we're looking at something that seems so obvious, as I say, that why on earth am I even talking about it? So I'm sure that most of us, if not all of us, at some point or another when we've been driving or riding, we've been going along, and when we reach our destination or at some point further along in the journey, we've suddenly thought, I don't remember the last 10 miles or the last 20 minutes or whatever, and we've been completely in our own little world. We've just gone off somewhere completely differently to concentrating on the road at all. We've been on sort of like autopilot. It's not uncommon, and especially when you're sort of tired, maybe driving at night, first thing in the morning, done a long shift, it's very easy to enter that position. And a lot of us think, yes, but if anything had happened, I'd have been absolutely fine. I just wasn't 100% with it, you know. But it is important to try and stay focused as much as you can. Let's have a quick look at this video here. And there you go. So a normal drive or a ride where you're out minding your own business, doing nothing wrong whatsoever, could very easily turn into a situation that could be disastrous. Now there's a guy there, as you've just seen, he's pushing a shopping trolley across the road quite slowly on a 70-mile-an-hour dual carriageway in pitch blackness. That could have very easily turned out to be something serious or fatal, couldn't it? So how aware you are when you ride or when you drive is an important factor. Now I did a video some time ago about rear observations, and as part of your direct access course and as part of your CPC training you get a lot of input on rear observations. And what I sometimes see as a result of that is that riders are fairly rigid with their forward head positioning, and then they check the mirrors when they need to, and then they put a lifesaver in when they need to, and then their head returns to the front and they just look to the front. And sometimes I think that a system such as OSM PSL, observations, signal manoeuvre, position, speed, look, can sometimes aggravate that particular way of riding. It becomes a little bit robotic, a little bit less natural. So you see a hazard, you do your rear observations, and your head returns to the front. So I've noticed quite a lot in training over the years that this is a phenomenon that I see. And sometimes it's very difficult to get someone to actually move their head. You know, your head and your neck are not welded to your shoulders. It's like when I'm sat here now, I'm moving my head, I'm checking my mirrors, I'm going to check my blind spots, I'm looking all around me. What I'm creating there is additional awareness. I like to be 360 aware as much as I can. So whilst we talk about rear observations quite a lot, we also should consider that side observations are as important. So I know that rear observations cover your blind spot and your forward vision covers from there onwards. So technically rear observations and normal forward vision is going to be 360 awareness. But I've noticed that a lot of people actually don't have 360 awareness, especially not before they move away in situations like this. Now checking my mirrors on their own might be alright, but what if in an urban area, pedal cycle, scooter, something like that has crept up alongside me? You need to enhance your awareness of what is going on around you. So let's have a look at this motorcyclist here in this clip. I'll let you draw your own conclusions. When I first saw this, I thought there's no rear obs, no awareness at all. However, if you look a little bit closer, you'll see that his head is moving towards his mirror. Now, being in the left lane when you want to go ahead, the incorrect lane, with a left signal on, is probably not the best to enhance your chances of safety. Do you think he should have done a lifesaver before he moved across? I mean, certainly he should have cancelled his signal. Yes, he was in the wrong lane. Do you think his awareness was high enough to keep him safe in this situation? And if we look at him later on, he's doing a right turn here. Notice yet again his lane positioning is not fabulous. Probably checked his mirror. Should he have used a lifesaver? Should he have covered his blind spot? Should he have been more aware of what he was doing? So as we move away, let's just increase our awareness. You saw earlier that the bike there, when he moved away in the traffic queue, he didn't really do any effective rear observations. He may have been very aware and very confident and didn't feel the need. And as I wait here at the traffic lights, I'm not just looking ahead, I'm not just looking into the road that I want to go into over there with the slow moving traffic. I'm keeping those mirrors checked. I'm not just using my eyes, but I am in fact just moving my head a little bit as well, just to exacerbate that view, to increase it a little bit. A little glance to the left there. What's that vehicle doing to my left? Presume he's going to turn left or go ahead. I just noticed things like which way the wheel's pointing. Has he suddenly put his right hand indicator on? And you can go, it's overkill, it's overthinking, but you know, that sort of way of riding has looked after me for many a year, and I often see people do things that you would regard as odd or out of the blue, but you should always expect the unexpected. Sitting in a traffic queue and switching off is not a good option for your safety, and with so many little scooters, bicycles and things like that around these days, the ability to see what's going on around you and keep those observations going are really, really important. So when it comes to awareness, it's not just being aware of your surroundings, other road users, the road surface, hazards and so on. It's good to have an awareness of how capable and able you are personally. You need to be realistic of how you are as a biker, and don't increase your risk levels by pushing yourself beyond what is reasonable for you to achieve. It's always worth considering as well that you may be very aware and observing well to the front. Tunnel vision doesn't always have to be at high speeds. It can be in these slower speed areas, especially where what's going on may be complex. I mean, you know, we've got a couple of cars here, he's going to come towards me anyway, there's a stop junction to the left, lots of parked cars, vehicle coming towards me there. You can get very preoccupied with certain areas of your ride, especially where they're complex, and lose sight of other things that are happening around you. And so particularly if you're a young rider, it's likely that your awareness might not be as high as maybe it could be due to inexperience, or maybe a little of exuberance and excitement. I remember being young on a bike, and a lot of the things I did back then I wouldn't do now. So part of your awareness would be good to realise and be aware of what is safe and sensible, and what is dangerous and probably less sensible, possibly even ridiculous. I think we've all got different gauges there of what we think is okay and what we think isn't okay. This clip here, presumably the more younger rider, is a clear demonstration of a lack of awareness of what could go wrong and what is acceptable and proper. Riding like this, for those of us that have been around a few years, is not a good thing to be doing. It won't take much to clip that car, it won't take much to clip the curb, and if you do either of those things, you're going to be knocked off your bike. Your bike is going to go catapulting up the road, and you're going to go in a very similar direction, only to be maybe run over by something coming the other way. that sort of riding, whilst it might seem like exciting good progress on your ped, is the very sort of thing that's going to get you wiped out. It's like here, I'm having a wear. Yes, he's got his indicator on, so I'll go alongside. I've seen so many people get in that lane and then change lane at the last moment, so that signal was a welcome addition. So it's worth having a little look at this clip here. Here we have what appears to be a younger rider on a 125 learner bike, L plates, so presumably riding on a CBT. I can tell you that he did a filter earlier on a van, and it was done very nicely. It was safely executed, he showed a bit of courtesy, and it was absolutely bang on. As he comes around the corner here off of the roundabout, notice how the red car and him don't seem to be in a very comfortable state. It does make you wonder which lane the car should be in, and the bike does seem to be positioned quite a way to the left in his lane. What level of awareness has that rider got of that car? And I wonder how he feels, because watching it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. It didn't look like it was going to be the safest of combinations, and I don't think the car driver contributed well either. The two things that we often talk about when it comes to safety are space and time. Give yourself plenty of space, give yourself plenty of time to do things, time to respond, keeping away from the vehicle in front and so on. And here we don't have a lot of space, and that's always a recipe for a bit of a problem. So I think the takeaway from this has to be keeping your awareness up is a positive thing for you and your safety. And by doing that, especially if you're a newer rider, try not to be too rigid with your body. I know it's easy as a new rider to become tense, lock certain muscle groups, lock your arms, lock your elbows, lock your shoulders. But it's probably worth trying to relax, because not only will you get the best of the bike and the best of the handling, but you'll also find it'll make observing better, because it's much easier to move your head around and get that visibility. If you watch any good advanced training videos where you can see the rider, particularly some of the police riders, you'll notice that as they ride, their heads are moving. They're looking across fields. They're looking through the trees. They're not just locking their head and looking up the road ahead and then just popping in the odd lifesaver when they need it. So that nice relaxed approach to observing and moving and staying aware will do you a lot of good in the long run. So until next time, ride safe and take care.